Geopolitical trends, consolidation points, prospects of the contemporary realities are strategically important to have an atmosphere of peace in the region. All these topics are focused in Central Asia program.
And coming right up, headlines from Central Asia. In November of this year, Turkmenistan will commission the first section of the transnational railway line. Its length, 85 kilometers. It will connect the country with Afghanistan through near border stations. This section is part of the Asian International Railway Transport Corridor. It will pass across the territories of Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan, and will then enter the branched-out railway network of China. And this is the shortest path to the developing and prospective market of the Asian Pacific region. Uzbekistan's parliament is to establish a business ombudsman institution. Its main role will be protecting the rights and legal interests of entrepreneurs before the state, regulating and law enforcement entities of the country. This novel introduction is one of the measures for improving the investment and business climate in Uzbekistan. At the moment, the interim president Shavkat Mirziyoyev is working on this task. A defense and space industry ministry has been created in Kazakhstan. The new ministry will receive its institutional powers from different ministries and will be responsible for the space industry, cybersecurity, and preparation for mobilization. The relevant decree has already been signed by Nursultan Nazarbayev, and pertaining committees are being created. It has not yet been announced who will head the new ministry. Everyone out of the shadows. Kazakhstan is getting ready for another wave of legalization of shadow capital. The campaign will last until the end of this year. But already 700 billion tenge in property and capital has been officially registered. Our correspondent Almaty brings us the details of this wide-scale campaign. Timur Kanatov decided to declare his property a long time ago, but as is common, somehow just didn't get to it. Time was a decisive factor. Timur, just like thousands of other Kazakhstan citizens, has only 6 months left to officially declare his capital. As the president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, promised, this is the last chance for the country's citizens to disclose their assets, including those that took a lot of work to earn. Specialists provided me with all the information regarding what documents to put together, how to fill out the declaration forms. That's what I'm working on at the moment. I got all the documents in order and hope to submit them today. The current wave of legalization of shadow capital in Kazakhstan is already the third one. The first one was conducted in 2001 and was acknowledged as one of the most successful in the countries of the CIS. Back then, the campaign brought in around $480 million. A similar campaign in 2007, aside from capital, also allowed to officially declare property assets. This year's program is being conducted by relying on the previous experience and with substantial amendments introduced into the legislative acts. This simplifies the procedure of submitting the documents and speeds up the processing period of the applications.
Одно из отличий в нынешней акции по легализации.
This campaign differs from the previous ones because it is possible to declare property that is registered on someone else's name. Tomorrow, these people whose name the property is registered may be held responsible because during the general process of declaration of assets, the sources of earnings will be checked.
Привлечены к ответственности, потому что при всеобщем декларировании будут проверяться, откуда получалось доход.
The Department of State Revenues was assigned the task of bringing out from the shadows personal as well as real estate property, including monetary funds. In some cases, commissions of the local mayor's offices are assigned the tasks. The role of banks in the amnesty of capital was minimized. All the procedures related to the declaration of assets are conducted without commissions and additional levies. It should be mentioned that all amounts of capital that was not previously taxed need to be declared, and the money can be used immediately without having to wait 5 years like it was before.
Если раньше требовалось, чтобы человек для легализации имущества продержал сумму денег.
If before it would be required for a person to withhold from using the funds for a period of 60 months, then now this requirement has been lifted, and everything is simple. A person comes in with their identification documents, opens an account at the bank, deposits the declared capital, gets a confirmation document, and there is no commission fee.
Размещает деньги на текущий счет для легализации, получает справку, причем все это происходит без комиссии.
To this day, Kazakhstan's residents have officially declared capital and property in the amount of 700 billion tenge. The state does not directly receive revenues from the declared assets. The revenues come from paid taxes. They will be paid on the assets that were legalized. These are so-called hidden state assets.
Преследование таких субъектов за нелегализацию в любом случае не будет.
People will not be persecuted for not declaring their assets, but in the future, checks of people with big assets may be conducted to find out where the asset earnings came from. If these revenues were earned through legal means and all the taxes are paid, then of course there won't be any problems. And of course fines will not be imposed.
Проверка может быть проведена, но это не означает, что в обязательном порядке будет какое-то преследование и так далее.
Voluntary declaration of shadow capital is the first stage of implementation of the system of transparent taxation. The next stage is declaration of earnings. This will be obligatory for the country's citizens from 2017. In the beginning, the most prepared part of the population will be engaged: deputies, judges, public servants, employees and managers of national companies, as well as their spouses. The general declaration is planned for 2020 and will concern the entire population of Kazakhstan. The harder you train, the easier is the battle. But not always. Technical colleges of Kazakhstan are gradually switching to a system of dual education. This means that the curriculum has more practical courses than theoretical. About the advantages of this system and the interim results of its implementation in our next story. Evgenia and Nikita are in the middle of their practical training at the construction site. They are college students and are studying to become welders. Over the course of 1 year, the young people will already master the basics of the profession and try to showcase their skills at every opportunity. I can't say that I learned a lot, but also not little. I already know how to do some things. Make seams on the bottom. For example, I can weld a small fence or something else. In the first year of studies, there's little practical training, but that changes later on. This is how the system of dual education works. In the third year, students spend 70% of their time doing an internship. On the same construction site, the construction finishers, Asiya and Aygerim, are also applying their learned skills. Today's task is one of the last. The young women are about to graduate from college, and both have already received the 4th professional category. I like this profession, and that is why I chose it. Also, due to the high level of development of construction in Kazakhstan, I decided to dedicate my life to this profession. In fact, the young women are not just graduates, but qualified professionals with practical experience. By the way, Asiya already had an opportunity to apply her skills on her own. She has recently finished complete repairs of her house. None of this would have been possible without systematic practice at the workplace. When students undertake an internship at our company, in case of positive results, and with positive feedback from internship advisors, depending on how the students show themselves at the workplace, and of course if there is a vacancy, we offer a job. The dual education system in Kazakhstan appeared only 3 years ago, but is already gaining momentum. In Almaty, 32 out of 80 colleges implemented this program. 44 contracts have been signed with enterprises hosting interns. The National Chamber of Entrepreneurs believes that this work should not just continue, but that consultants from enterprises should be actively involved in the educational process. You know very well that the main problem of the educational system is its distance from the consumer, who is an entrepreneur or employer. It is the entrepreneur who knows what specialists they need, what professional skills these people should have.
Какими функциональными компетенциями должны обладать эти кадры?
Atamikian is proposing to take cooperation of colleges and business people to a higher level. For example, to allow entrepreneurs to assess students. To do this, academic industry clusters and certification centers are already being established. The director of the College of Construction and Crafts, Kamal Jamangozov, is putting high hopes on them.
Эта площадка позволяет именно ориентироваться под конечного потребителя, под работодателя.
This platform allows to focus on the end consumer, the employer. Therefore, regarding particularly the construction professions, we also want to establish an education methodological cluster together with employers. And we're already in the process of negotiation. In principle, we have already had the first meeting of the working group on the establishment of an academic cluster for the construction industry.
Рабочие группы по созданию учебно-методического кластера для строительных.
It is no secret that the main issues that concerns all graduates is how to obtain work experience if you can't get a job without the experience. Thanks to the dual education system, this vicious cycle may finally be broken.
Семейный подряд.
A family streak. A unique family lives in Shymkent, all the members of which are engaged in some form of art. Our correspondent visited them and is now ready to share the story.
Впечатлениями от увиденного.
Bulat Beyzbekov is adding the finishing touches, literally. Just a couple more minutes and the new works of the artists will be ready. Bulat Beyzbekov's entire life has been connected with the world of art. From childhood he was standing in front of the drawing easel. And he even chose a wife who is an artist. At the beginning of their life together, they painted together, wove in tapestry, and then together went to the train station to sell their works. Not much has changed since then. They're still together making art. However, now this is a big family business, which now involves the participation of their children.
Мен Әбілхан Қасиев атындағы Шымкент көркем сурет колледжін бітіргем. Ол жерде
I finished the Abulhan Kastev Arts College in Shymkent, specializing in leather work. I mostly work with leather and animal skins. At the moment I'm making belts out of natural leather with traditional national ornaments.
Мына секілді белдіктер таза теріден жасалады. Соларды жасап отырмын.
The Beyzbekov family has 5 children. The oldest, Berik, is a jack of all trades. He works with silver, leather and wood. At the moment he's working on a collection for the Expo 2017 exhibition. The women of this house mostly weave carpets, goblins, alasha and tekemet carpets out of felt. Each one of them is unique in terms of the decor. In the beginning, the whole design is carefully sketched out on paper, and then following the design, the carpet is made. This goblin tapestry costs from $1,000 and up. Only natural threads are used for making it, and it takes a master around 2 months to complete it. The difficulty of making a goblin tapestry depends on its illustration. If it is easy, then the job can be done fast. If it is more ornate, then it will take more time. The woman working on the machine is also a member of the Beyzbekov family, a daughter-in-law to be precise, and she's also part of the family business. Overall, they try to get everyone into arts, even grandchildren. Of course, they're not required to work on the goblin tapestries, but they are trusted enough to boil the soap and pour it into forms. The store, which is open next to the workshop, there's something for everyone. Because we're all artists, we need to have materials all the time. Because a thought or an idea can appear at any time, and if one does not have the necessary materials to realize it, then it disappears. That is why we purchase everything in advance. Bulat Beyzbekov speaks with special reverence about his gallery. This space with an area of 700 square meters was turned into an exhibition hall. It has works from the artist's personal collection, his own works, and the first creations of young artists. Young designers and artists do not have the possibility to have their work exhibited at big exhibitions. And here they can showcase their art and collections before everyone, and can organize their own exhibitions. It seems that there's no more space for the Beyzbekovs to expand their business. The workshop already has high art articles and charming handmade stuff. it is possible to purchase something or just enjoy the works of the masters. But Bolat Beizbekov is still making big plans for the future. Grandchildren are growing up, and it is not yet known what form of artistic endeavor they would like to pursue. You're watching the Central Asian Report. Until next time on Kazakh TV.
Kazakh TV.
Geopolitical trends, consolidation points, prospects of the contemporary realities are strategically important to have an atmosphere of peace in the region. All these topics are focused in Central Asia program.